Today on Commander Replay, find out what happens when the Scarab God runs Mesmeric Orb into some of the most powerful commanders in the format. Hello everyone, welcome back. Playing some Scarab God today. I got some nasty opponents in this game. We'll keep this hand. So we're playing the Scarab God, 5 mana 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. You may pay 4, exile target creature from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it except it's a 4/4 black zombie, and whenever the Scarab God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Let's take a look at our opponents, and we got some good ones that we are facing. Facing Jace Vryn's Prodigy is a 2 mana 0/2. Tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, exile Jace and return them to the battlefield under your control. Becomes a Planeswalker with a +1 of up to 1 target creature gets -2, -0 until your next turn. -3 is you may cast instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that card would be put in your graveyard, exile it. And then -9, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, target opponent puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into the graveyard. So our turn, we will play a tap land. Next up, we have Gave, Guru of Spores. Is a 5 mana 0/0, enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters. You may pay 1, remove a +1/+1 counter to create a 1/1 green Saproling token, and you may pay 1 to sacrifice a creature and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And then finally, we have Narset, Enlightened Master. Is a 6 mana 3/2, has First Strike and Hexproof. When it attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-creature cards exiled with Narset without paying their mana cost. Narset is one of the most powerful commanders in Commander. It becomes very easy for Narset decks to just take infinite turns, and cheating mana cost is always a problem, and Narset does it better than most commanders. Plus the fact that it has hexproof makes it very difficult to kill. So getting caught up on turns, Jace Vryn's Prodigy opponent started with a Sensei's Divining Top. Gave on their turn 2 plays an Earthcraft. Narset plays a turn 1 Expedition map. And that brings us back to our turn. So the last time I did this got me killed very quickly, but we're going to try it again and hope for better results. We're going to play a turn 2 Mesmeric Orb. And in particular, this should do some work against the Narset opponent, because the Narset opponent is looking for very specific things, like take extra turns and things like that. And as we start milling those out, there'll be less and less of those in their library. Unfortunately, on the other hand, is that Jace Vryn's Prodigy wants cards in their graveyard, so we'll also be powering them up, which is slightly problematic. So, opponent milled the land that they needed with Sensei's Divining Top. So, the Mesmeric Orb already putting in some work. We get another land off the Narset opponent. Nice. So hopefully people miss their land drops on account of this Mesmeric Orb. Oh yeah, things are looking good. So Narset missed their land drop and Jace missed their land drop. And they both would have made them if it wasn't for the Mesmeric Orb. So that's about as good as you can hope for in that. And milled our opponent's Sun Titan. That's actually a good thing to get rid of. Sun Titan, very good when someone's trying to mill you out. Kodama's Reach for the Gave opponent. Back to our turn, gonna get some Mesmeric Orb triggers. Always yield to those. We lose our Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth and a Strip Mine. The question is, do we go for Lord of the Accursed and play an untapped land, or do we play a tap land and try to get something else down sooner? I am not sure. I think we go with the tap land this turn. I kind of want to try out this Forgotten Creation and see how that thing does. So we'll play the Terramorphic Expanse. We'll get a Swamp. Comes into play tapped, and we'll play our Swiftfoot Boots. So opponent's going to use their Sensei's Divining Top. Try to find some lands. Milled our opponent's Sol Ring. Nice. Oh, we're getting them so good. Oh, I love Mesmeric Orb. So opponent's going to ponder. The thing that they'll have to keep in mind. So Mesmeric Orb again will mess up if they try to prearrange anything for their ponder. So basically they'll probably only be able to get the top card. Although they can always activate their Divining Top again. So as I don't play the style of decks a lot that need to use Mesmeric Orb. Opponent asks, did you really just spin the top and then play Ponder? Yup. Oh wow, so opponent plays a Mass Hysteria, all creatures have haste. That'll be interesting. That's bad with Narset, because then they get to start casting stuff for free. But the Narset opponent misses another land drop, so they might be a non-contender in this game. So it's not a card that I play a lot, just because I don't play a lot of the type of decks that are interested in Mesmeric Orb. But on the rare occasions when I do, Mesmeric Orb can really hose blue decks, because blue decks don't typically commit a lot of things to the board, and they tend to tutor a lot, and they're looking for very specific things out of their library, and when you start milling that stuff, they really lose a lot of steam out of their deck. Now, graveyard decks obviously like Mesmeric Orb a lot, so you have to be careful about those. But the big problem is, I just played a game not that long ago where I cast a turn 2 Mesmeric Orb, and someone laid down an early Sunscorch Regent with a Sol Ring, so it was on like turn 3. But they killed me very, very quickly because I didn't have any removal to stop all the damage that was incoming. And there was an Omnath opponent in the game who also just started hitting me with Volakut and Omnath triggers, so I lost very quickly. Oh, so we got utter end on the Mesmeric Orb. So the good thing about that is that means that the Mesmeric Orb did some work against our opponents, but now that it's gone, they'll hopefully not target us. So we're going to play this Forgotten Creation, and I think swinging into the Narset opponent is the correct thing to do. Giving them a chance to get back into the game just seems wrong. I've had to watch too many Narset opponents just combo off too many times to let them have any sort of breathing room. And unfortunately, Jace isn't far behind in terms of power level. Trophy Mage coming into play. Opponents get to search for an artifact with converted mana cost 3. Put it into their hand. Opponent says they took some stuff out of their deck, couldn't find the card they were looking for, apparently. Oh wow, they fizzled with the Trophy Mage. Yeah. So, nice. Opponent sacrifices their expedition map, gonna find a land. It's a plateau. Gave coming into play. Seems like Gave's gonna be pretty good with his Earthcraft. Gave coming into us. Back to our turn, we get a Forgotten Creation trigger. We're going to discard all the cards in our hand. I really want to make a land drop, and I'm not really married to anything that was in our hand to begin with. Unfortunately, our lands come in tapped, which isn't great. We got a Notion Thief that we can sit on. Really wanted to get our Scarab God down this turn, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to play the Myriad Landscape just because there's a chance that we could find a land that would make our Choked Estuary come in untapped. Now the question is Notion Thief or Erebos. Erebos won't really do anything, so I'll hold up the Notion Thief for now. If any of our opponents try to draw, we'll hose them with the Notion Thief. And keep attacking in the Narset. Thought Vessel for the Jace opponent. Opponent's going to look at the top 3 cards of the library. Put them back in any order. Basalt Monolith, crap, that means they have Narset mana next turn. Ugh. That's what I was hoping to avoid. Hopefully Gave's got something for them. Chromatic Lantern for the Gave. Gave coming back at us. Kind of annoyed. When there's 2 clearly very unfair decks at the table, and you're attacking our deck, which for the most part is a fair deck. Oh, hey. Yeah, Mesmeric seems really good. Flash in our Notion Thief. Oh, and the Narset opponent scoops it up. So we're not going to find out if they were actually going to recover. At this moment, I'm going to keep the cards in our hand. I like Erebos and this Necromantic Selection. They both seem very good. And now Jay scooped it up, so it's just the Gave opponent. We draw a Fetid Pools. Ah, perfect. So we should be able to play the Choked Estuary, reveal the Fetid Pools. Comes in untapped. Swing into the Gave opponent. Okay, yep, looks like they're going to do some shenanigans with the Earthcraft and the lands and the whatnot. Yep, totally could have attacked with our commander right there. Oops. Sorin Markov for our opponent. That's not good. Our life total is now 10. So block with the Notion Thief. And we don't have any flyers, so we're just going to have to take the Mesmeric for now. And Gave is going to get crazy with all of their Spore tokens. So we are down to 5. I still like this Necromantic Selection, so I think I'm going to hang on to that. The question is, what do we need to do this turn? Right now, we really need an untapped land to use the Necromantic Selection. All right, so we're not going to use... we'll scry first and see what's on top, and then Recurring Insight is not what we need. And we're going to try to draw into a land right here. No. Not the land we need, unfortunately. Damn it. Oh, I think I found a plan. All right, so I think what we do, we use 4 mana to get back Sun Titan, move the boots over to the Sun Titan. We get back the Ashnod's Altar with the Sun Titan, then we get back the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Yeah, I like that plan. All right, here we go. So get back Sun Titan. Sun Titan's back. Get our Ashnod's Altar. Yes, use the ability. We have to sacrifice the Forgotten Creation to get the colorless mana because we need to leave... Oh, yeah. Sacrifice the Forgotten Creation. Mesmeric will get bigger. Move the boots over to the Sun Titan. Unfortunately, we can't... There's not much we can do with that floating mana. So that's going to empty. Swing both at the Sorin. They've got the Chromatic Lantern up so they can still tap for 1 and do a bunch of annoying things with tokens. We're going to get back our Urborg. Use that ability. And they're going to start the sacking. So Soren down. Back to our main phase. Make sure our commander goes to the graveyard. And now we sacrifice both creatures to the Ashnod's altar. Play the Necromantic Selection. Our choices are Scarab God and Mesmeric. We'll get Mesmeric. Then we'll drop our Fetid Pools. Bam! So, surviving another turn, we get Scarab God back to our hand. Grim Monolith for our opponent. Gave back into play. We get a Watery Grave. Yeah, I think we just get down our Scarab God right here. Cast the Scarab God. Opponent can make a bunch of tokens, which is still problematic for us. What's in our opponent's graveyard? What's in our graveyard? We still have the Notion Thief, so only a Lotus Cobra in our opponent's graveyard. I think we play our land tapped. I'm going to leave the boots where they are right now. I don't think that they're going to be relevant. At least I hope anyway. So Gave is going to make some tokens. Yeah, it's another token. So Gave is just going to try to go wide on us, it looks like. Opponent untaps their Grim Monolith. See what they copy. Copies the Ashnod's Altar. That's going to give them a mana boost. So opponent's going to swing in with everything. Oh, this causes some problems for us. Ha! He sacked his own creature. Nice. So opponent opponent went all in on the token that was blocked. So we just got them pretty good. We're at 5 life and we should be able to. Opponent's gonna shame scoop. Nice. Ha! So weird game. We had Narset and Jace who missed their turn 2 land drops because of Mesmeric Orb. They both scooped because they were too far out of the game. Gave targeted us down real hard, hit us with a Sorin trigger, and we were able to wiggle our way out of it through some bad playing on our opponent's part. Nice. So that's been the Scarab God. I've actually had a difficult time with the Scarab God. It's tough to get a lot of zombies into play. I was kind of doing a split between zombie tribal and just using Scarab God's graveyard ability, and it's been actually really tough to really build up any kind of significant board presence, I've noticed. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.